Yes, it is. It has started.
Okay. Um, so today we will be starting with this new topic that is research aptitude. The first and the foremost thing that is there is the syllabus. It is the module 2 of paper 1, and this is the syllabus that is available on UGC website. Okay, so as you can see it here it is mentioned about the meaning, types, characteristics, and then positivism and post-positivism of research. There are certain methods that they have mentioned with regards to research. The steps of research, what is thesis, how do we write thesis, what is article writing, what are
Nilima
the
ma'am, we
formats.
are not able to see anything on screen. It's blank slide that we have on screen.
Okay,
Yeah.
is it now visible?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. So then we have thesis, article writing, and how do we give referencing? There are various types of ways of doing referencing. Then how do we use the current applications, ICT in research and the research ethics? This is the syllabus that is available at the UGC website, but there is much more deep things inside this syllabus. That is also we will be talking about what is sampling, hypothesis, research design, research variable, and in the syllabus, if you can see here, there are types and methods in many books. First thing that I want to make all of you understand is that in many books you will find either it is written as types or methods, or sometimes both of them are written, but there is a huge difference between a type and a method. So when we talk about type, it is the there are at least 18 to 20 types of research that we have, and method is the way how we conduct that research. So there is a slight difference between both of them. So when I talk about methods, it is either through the questionnaire or interview or discussion group and others. Then what are the steps of research? There is steps research. This also carries a lot of weightage in your examination. Then thesis, article writing, and the rest follows the same. There are certain other part also which are there part of this syllabus, that is um, the types of error that we have while we do a research, and even that is a very important topic from your examination perspective. But before we go deep down, it is one of the simplest topic to understand. The only thing is that whenever we study any topic for net set, any set exam that you're giving, we have to be very 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 clear with the keywords. The whole game that we are talking about clearing the exam is totally dependent upon the keywords. We don't need to study too much doing reading line by line, but we need to be very very clear and precise with the keywords. So before we start in detail the types and the other methods of research, the first thing is, what is research? So as the name here suggests, if I divide this word a little bit, is doing the search again. Information that is already available, some data, something that is already available, again searching that information is called as research. So it is basically a detail anyway and a very careful study of something to find out more information. That knowledge is already available, but we are now it is already available and we are doing research, so how are we doing something unique and innovative? So that is, there is already something there and we are finding some kind of loophole or connection and bringing out something new out of it is called as research. So that is why it is a very detailed and a careful study of something to find more information about it. So a research defined as creation of new knowledge using the existing knowledge which is already there. Using those knowledge, we are creating something new, and it is a creative way to generate new concepts. So according to Criswell, research is a process of steps used to collect the data from various methods and sources, analyze them, analyze those information to increase our understanding on that topic or on that issue is called as research. For example, climate change is already there. We all know that we are facing climate change, but we are again doing some kind of research on it, that how is climate change impacting our health, or how is climate change not only impacting our physical health, but how is climate change impacting our mental health. So that kind of things are already there, but we are looking more deep into it, is called as research. So in a very short and a precise manner, research is a process of inquiry and investigation, and it's a very systematic method. In research, you cannot just go and do a research. There is a method you need to follow. There is step by step process that you have to follow. Only after completion of step 1 you can move to step 2, then step 3, and like that way. And research always helps to increase the knowledge that is already available. Now moving way forward, here there is a small acronym and a meaning of the whole research.
Madam, would it be
In
possible to take it on a presentation mode?
Yes, I did try it, but when I'm trying it on a presentation mode, I think the screen is not available for you to see. I have kept it on presentation mode, but I think it is
We
visible.
aren't able to see it. So in that case, if you can,
Zoom.
yes, this is what I wanted to say. Fine.
Yeah.
If you can increase the size, yeah.
Okay.
And you can
Sure.
also slightly reduce the left panel size also.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Most of them, sir. Hope now it is visible. So when we talk about research, so I have brought down this acronym. Now it has all the keywords, and whenever we see this keywords in our question, that means we have to be very clear that it is talking about research, and this is the only way to pick up the answers when we will be solving a question. So R here means rational way of thinking, rational. Another way we can say the scientific way of thinking. And now in when we study for net set examination, very important is that we should know what is the synonym of the same word, because sometimes UGC also asks the same question using a synonym that is there, a more updated version. So we should be aware about that. Next is when we do research, we need an expertise, and where we need to have that expertise, and that is why we learn about all types of error, the sampling, the design, and other things. And it is a very exhaustive treatment. It's a long process. You cannot just go and do a research within 2 days, 3 days. There are certain types of research which can be done in a very short span of time, but even that short span is a little big time that we will be taking. Research will always focus on search and solution. Without a solution, your research does not mean anything. So end of the day, if we are taking up a problem, we are finding out a loophole, we have to provide a solution also. If there is no solution, the research is not taking place in a very true sense. And then E here is exactness. That means we have to be very exact, clear, and appropriate. But then we will be studying there are certain types of research where we'll see that when it deals with human emotions and various other things, it will have little variation to it. And then we have to do a lot of analysis, because when we do research, we collect data, we have sample. We don't do research like that way. We have certain people on whom we conduct research. There is always certain people on whom we conduct research, we call as a sample. Okay, so we collect data from them, and then we analyze those data. We also study the relationship of the facts, how are two things, three things, or x number of things are interrelated with each other. And there is a very critical observation that has been done while doing a research. Careful planning is being done, and a constructive attitude is required, and a very condensed generalization. So whenever I'm talking about a research, it has to come to a generalization, a conclusion. That is one of the most important thing. A research will be considered more reliable and valid. Reliable means on which we can depend upon, and we can say that it is a perfect form when it is generalized to mass people. So it is used in any situation, it will give the same outcome. And the last one is honesty and hard work. So when we do research, honesty and hard work is very, very important, because it should never as such be we are copy pasting somebody's data. So that is the last part of the syllabus as well, the research, ethics in research. Okay. So this is just a small definition basically of research. Now, again, this is a very interesting picture which is trying to explain you what is research. All of these are the keywords which when we will be studying the types of research, we will find this helpful for solving our questions also. So research is a systematic investigation. It is very, very systematic. So though we use it in social science, then also it is very systematic. Okay, so it's not just कि science में ही चीजें system से होती है. When we do it in social science, we follow a step, a process. Hence, it is very systematic investigation, and hence it is very scientific. And to a study of material and resources. So whenever we do research, we are dependent on some data, some resources from either from newspaper, periodic journals, or anything. That kind of data is there, and that data can be physical, it can be intellectual, and sources can be tangible or intangible as well. So when we do research, sometime what happens is we study certain behavior pattern, we study certain emotional pattern, so that are intangible things that you cannot touch. You can just feel those things, but आप उसको touch नहीं कर सकते. And in order to establish certain facts, certain principles, certain generalization, after conducting a research, हमारा मोटो ये है कि इसका एक कुछ प्रिंसिपल, कुछ जनरलाइजेशन होना चाहिए, एंड टू रीच टू अ न्यू कंक्लूजन. तो और उससे हम एक नया फाइंडिंग लेकर आएंगे कि हमने ऐसा रिसर्च किया, इसका ये कनेक्शन था, और आगे जाके इस रिसर्च पे आगे किया जा सकता है. Just to give you an example, let's say about climate change, we are doing a research. So we are telling that we are doing a research on climate change, and there is a relation between a climate change and the health of the people. So there is a climate change, and because of climate change, there is a lot of air pollution. People are not able to breathe properly. Their lungs are getting damaged. So now what we can do, there are certain conclusions that if you stay in this area at so much particular high level, so there will be certainly negative outcomes of it. So the research outcome is ki to live and happily, like without facing any kind of damage to your lungs or anything, the what you say, the global warming or the climate change, the air pollution should be at below certain level. Then only you can live peacefully in that area without damaging your health. Now there are certain objectives of research. Why do we conduct a research? Is that is to be very specific, very clearly defined objectives. We want a specific result out of it, and research is always very, very important, measurable. Research has to be measurable. We mostly do research that can be measured, or it can be in terms of quantity, and it has to be achievable, it has to be realistic what we are talking. So whenever we do a research, if it is not realistic, it cannot be concluded as a research. Then it should be relevant. So whenever you go for a PhD entrance exam or whatever we are talking about, so the one question that is always asked to you is your research relevant? Will it be relevant in the next upcoming time? So whenever we prepare for a research topic, it has to be relevant in the future. So for example, if I'm talking about climate change, so maybe 5 years, 10 years down the line, it is relevant by that time. So it has to be very relevant. And time bound, very, very important. So whenever we conduct a research, it has a certain time frame. It can be as small as 2 years, 3 years. It can be as long as 20 years, 25 years. We have certain categories of research that goes as long as 20, 25 years. Then there are certain characteristics that are there in research, and these characteristics is universal. It will be there irrespective of anything. If you're conducting a research, it has to be there. First is research is always systematic, that we discussed previously. It is always objective. That means it is on a scientific thing. It is not subjective. It is not biased. So it has to be very objective. We have data, number, and it is free from the research biasness. So the person who is conducting should not have any kind of biasness. Then it is logical. We use certain methods for conducting a research, and the research has been made very logical. Now there are two methods for making or working on research and making it logical, is inductive and deductive method. I will be speaking about it in the next slide in detail. But these are the two methods. In logical reasoning also, you might have studied about inductive method and deductive method. Next is generalized outcome. So whenever we do a research, it has generalized outcome. For example, sample results apply to the entire population whenever we do certain kind of uh, research. And then reliability, it refers to the extent to which an investigation produce consistent results. So if I've conducted a research and in area A, if it is giving a certain result, it has to give the same result in area B also. For example, the problem was COVID, and then we did research. We came up with came up with a medicine, a formula, and that is when we came up with that formula, so that vaccine was applicable everywhere. That vaccine was applicable everywhere. So if that vaccine was tried on a people staying in India, it worked. People staying in USA, it worked. People staying in UK, it worked. So it is reliable anywhere that research has been done, and it is cyclic in nature. It repeats itself. And next is replicable. So meaning that the researcher should be able to conduct a similar study and obtain similar results whenever it has been uh, carried out anywhere. Okay. Then the next slide that we have is, okay, there is a very simple question. This is a previous year question. I want all of you to answer this question. Scientific research is data driven, replicable, verifiable, and subjective. Your options are option 1, that is ABC, data driven, replicable, and verifiable. Okay, I have not mentioned here as A. I will just mention it. So yes. So yes, please answer this question. Okay. Okay. Majority of all of you have given the correct answer. Yes. So as we have discussed, see, this all game is all about, again, keywords. Obviously, when I'm talking about research, I told you that there are a lot many people, sample, resources, and everything. So that means it is data driven. Research, whenever we are talking, it all talks about data. Then recently we discussed it is replicable. It should give the same result in different situation. It is verifiable. It should be verified. We also have in research reliability and validity and other thing. The last option, that is subjective, is wrong. We just recently spoke about it. Okay, so it is not subjective because it is not about being biased. Research is very objective, and majority of you have given the correct answer. So the correct answer will be A, that is sorry, one, that is ABC. Okay, so the research is not subjective at all. It is all about being objective. Research means being very objective and clear. Hope this was clear to all of you. Now let's see the next question. That was very simple question. Now we'll move to a little more different level. This is also a previous year question. So when knowledge becomes replicable and verifiable, it is called as humanistic, impersonistic, scientific, or subjective. Please write A, B, C, D. Perfect. Yes, all of you are giving the correct answer. Yes. Perfect. Perfect. So when knowledge becomes replicable and verifiable, it is called as scientific. Research cannot be subjective at all. Okay. It cannot be humanistic also or impersonistic. Research itself is very scientific. Okay. Very good. Perfect. Now, this was very basic of research. What is research, objectives of research, and basic characteristics of research. Now we are moving to the types of research. This is one of the most important topic. If you are able to understand the types of research, at least 5 to 10 question comes from types of research. So today we will be doing 10, 11 types of research, which are very, very important. And again, I'm telling you, just focus on the keywords. That is the whole and soul of everything. So as you can see in this image here, quantitative, qualitative are two types of research. Then you have mixed method research, which is a mixture of quantitative and qualitative. Cross-sectional, action research, descriptive, correlational research, case study, longitudinal, grounded theory. We will understand all of this, and this is very simple. To give you a little bigger view, this is the type of research that we have, and all of them are very, very easy. You just need to understand the very basic key points, and you will be definitely able to solve all of them. So all of them are interrelated with each other also. So now we are starting with the first type of research. I will say if you have pen and paper, very good. Otherwise, you can take a screenshot. You don't need to write the whole sentence, just the keywords. Okay. So this research are been divided on certain types. Okay. On the basis of their classification, either objective, outcome, or other. So on the basis of objectives, research has been divided on like descriptive, correlational, exploratory, and experimental. Outcome, when we do certain research and on the basis of outcome, research has been divided as fundamental and applied. We will be going in detail, don't worry about it. Then on the basis of logic, it is divided as deductive and inductive. This is what we want to talk. Understand, this is the most important thing to understand what is deductive and inductive. Please, if you have a pen and paper, it will be really great to note it down. What is inductive and deductive? Once you learn this, this will be solving majority of your questions, and it will solve lot of doubts while studying any topic that you're studying in paper 1. So when I talk about deductive, deductive means going from general things to particular. So there are lot many general things that you are observing, and then you are going to a particular conclusion. And then when I talk about inductive, it is going from a particular thing. There are many particular examples. For example, you are seeing 4 to 5 particular example, and then you are coming to a conclusion. After seeing this 5 type of examples, acha, then this is there. For example, there is a grammar rule that you are seeing. There are certain words और उसके पहले ना an ही लगता है, ठीक है. For example, elephant के पहले an लगता है, और एप्पल के पहले एन लगता है. फिर आपने एक पैटर्न नोटिस किया कि ये जो ए आई ई ओ यू है, इन्हीं वर्ड्स के पहले एन लगता है, बाकी वर्ड्स के पहले ए लगता है. तो ऐसे पर्टिकुलर बहुत सारे एग्जांपल देखिए, आपने एक जनरलाइजेशन किया कि भाई जब ए आई ई ओ यू होगा तो इसके पहले एन ही लगेगा. सो आफ्टर सीइंग मेनी पर्टिकुलर एग्जांपल्स, जब भी ई वर्ड आता है, एलिफेंट आ रहा है या कोई और वर्ड आ रहा है, तो हम वहां पे एन यूज कर ही रहे हैं. So after seeing many particular example, you go to a generalization that is called as inductive, and deductive is you already have generalization and then you go to particular thing. So that is also a type of research when we talk about inductive and deductive. The simplest way, because कभी-कभी इसके ऊपर बहुत simple और questions आते हैं, but हमें meaning नहीं पता होता तो complicated हो जाता है. Okay, sure. So the simplest way to remember what is deductive and inductive is DGP. So as we know DGP as an officer, so DGP, deductive is general to particular. So DGP, and then the vice versa is definitely inductive. So whenever I talk about deductive, it is DGP. So deductive is general to particular. Clear to all of you? As of now, if you have understood this much for inductive, deductive, it is more than enough. at least this thing that it is particular, general to particular, or particular to general, you should be very, very clear with it. So simplest thing, again, I'm telling, note it down, DGP. So deductive is DGP, and then the vice versa. Then on the basis of process, we have quantitative and qualitative. And then on the basis of inquiry method, we have structured, unstructured, and other things. So now let us start with the very first research, that is the basic research. Basic research is also called as the pure research or fundamental research. Now again, the name is very important. If I talk basic, if I say pure, if I say fundamental, it will all mean the same. Basic, pure, or fundamental research. Now this research will focus on the knowledge enhancement. This research has nothing to do with solving a problem. This research is basically to generate a theory. It has nothing to solve a problem. It is generating a theory. Okay, so it's very pure, very fundamental. So this research, again, the words that are bold are very important, are the keywords, are the advancement of knowledge rather than solving any kind of specific problem. The research attempts to broaden your understanding and expand what are the scientific theories. Once this research has been done, then you apply this research on certain thing, and then you call it something else that we will be discussing in the next slide. So there are no practical application of this kind of research. Basic research creates new ideas, principles, theories, and are not applied in a practical life. Okay. So yes, there is a smelling mistake. We'll just correct it. Okay. So this research will always have a generalization that is universal. Whatever is the research, that research will be applicable and will be same everywhere. It will answer the questions of how, when, and what. Okay. And then it is the advancement of the theory. Whatever research is there, it will be advancing that particular theory. Now, example, a study of how stress affects labor productivity. So we are just studying the stress, say how labor productivity has been affected, or how does a teaching method affects the students' concentration in the class. Now here we are just understanding what are the teaching methods that are available. Okay, be it social inquiry method, or be it lecture cum presentation method, or a discussion method. We are just observing in this research which method is affecting the how it is affecting the concentration level in class. Or we will study just a basic research, how does caffeine consumption affects the classroom concentration. So how is caffeine that you are taking is impacting your concentration level. So we are not bringing the solution, we are just telling you, if you are using caffeine or something, this is how it will be impacted, this is how things are there. We are not coming with a solution as of now. The vice versa is the second type of research that is please mute your mic. That is applied research. Now whatever has been done in the basic research or any theory, that will be here as an applied research. Okay. Okay. So when I talk about applied research, the another name of applied research is decisional research. Now, this research will focus on solving a problem. Its main work, naam hi bolta hai, the name is suggesting it is applied. That means you have to apply and bring solution. Bringing solution is the core work of this particular research. So it will focus on finding a solution to the existing problem. Now it will address a specific research problem, and whatever problem it will be solving any practical problem. Very, very important that whenever applied research is there, how will you come to know that in this question it is talking about applied research? You will only come to know when you will just observe this one thing, the problem that has been solved is having a general solution being offered. So when any problem has been solved and a general solution has been offered, then it is called as applied research. Generalization is very important. This theory will bring generalized solutions. So it is a practical application of whatever existing theory is there. For example, ragging. So is ragging a problem of only XYZ college in Mumbai or ABC college in Mumbai? No, ragging is a universal problem. Be it Mumbai, be it Chennai, Bhopal, Varanasi, Patna, Haryana, Punjab, anywhere I go, ragging is a common problem. And when applied research is being used, a solution for ragging will be coming, and it will be a generalized solution for all the colleges. Next, for example, how to reduce global warming. So if a research has been done, so how to reduce, if I get an answer, a solution to it, it will be a very generalized that for example, how to reduce global warming. I've done a research, I have found out that I have to plant trees so that trees are there and we are not facing the problem of global warming. So that is a universal thing that can be followed everywhere to maintain the balance the global warming. And like how I told you, the COVID vaccine, it's a generalized solution to a problem. Okay. So whenever there will be a generalized solution, it will be an applied research. Now, there is a part of applied research itself, and it is sometimes treated separately, is called as action research. It's a part, but it is treated little separately. Now, this action research was initially not asked much in your examination. It is only since 2019-20. A lot of questions they started asking on action research for a couple of years. Post that, again, there is a reduction in questions with regards to action research. But it is almost 4 to 5 years. So they might again ask you this question on action research. It's a very interesting part of research. It's a part of applied research, first, to be very, very clear. And when we talk about applied, that means we are going to apply it. We are going to bring solution first. Second, action research, that means we are going to do certain action immediately. That is there. So when I talk about action research, it is working on an immediate problem to provide immediate solution as soon as possible. Now, when I talk about applied research, it can be used by any researcher, students, anybody can use applied research and carry out research and come out with certain generalizations, scientists or anybody. Action research are mostly used by practitioner. And when I talk about practitioner, it is action research more to be having more emphasis on it. Action research is mainly used in education sector, and it is mostly used by teachers, principals, and otherwise action research is carried by any XYZ person who is affected by the problem and is going to solve that problem to find the solution to the problem. That is action research. Mostly it is used by teachers and principals. Okay. So the concept of action research was given by MIT professor Quantitative in 1944. It's an immediate problem solution. If I'm facing any problem, immediate solution. Mostly used in universities, class, schools, etc. Very important. When I talk about applied research, it has generalization. Now, action research will not have any kind of generalization because it is limited to a university, a class, a school, and it is most importantly, yes, here it is the word, it is for a local problem. It is not for a problem like global warming, COVID vaccine. No, I am facing a problem. For example, in my class, students are not paying attention. What is the reason that they are not paying attention? So I will work on it. I will also tell you the process, how do we work on it. So it is for a local problem. Something that might have worked for me will not work for you. So that is working for a local problem. So there are 10 teachers in a school, but a solution that a teacher uses works for teacher A, but that solution does not work for teacher B. See, she has to or he has to manage his classroom in a different way. So it's a local problem, and the person who is affected will find a solution. So what does action research focus on? Very, very important. It focuses on improvement, also called as ameliorate. This is a word that was used in a previous year question in 2019 or 20 something. So sometimes they will just twist the word. So the focus on improvement. So they will write the this kind of research focus on eliminate. So what does that mean? If we don't know that, we will not be able to solve the question ka answer only. So it focus on improvement. So whenever I'm doing an action research, that means I want a solution and improvement should be there. Now it follows a cycle, and that is why it is also called as cyclic research. Another name for it is cyclic research. Now there is a very good plan that has been given by Stephen, and this is the steps. Basically, I will tell. Um to follow an action research. So it is PAOR, that is plan. Then you act on it. You observe whatever you have planned and you are acting on it. Is it working or is it not working? And then when you observe what is happening, then you reflect. If it has worked out, very good. The circle, in one circle you have completed it, but if it does has not worked out, you will move to plan cycle 2, and then cycle 3, cycle 4. So it will go on repeating. That is why it is called as cyclic in nature. This was given by Stephen Chemis in 1988. This is PAOR, that is plan, act, observe, and reflect. I make a plan, okay, I act upon it, I am observing what is happening, and then I reflect. And if it has not worked out, then if required, I will revise the plan. Again, I will follow the same step. If again it has not worked out, cycle 3, cycle 4, and so on. So far, so good for everyone. Shall I move ahead? Fine. Okay. So this is a previous year question of 2018. Which of the set of activity best indicate the cyclic nature of action research strategy? Please comment down your answer. Okay, so we have studied recently, so yeah, correct. Yes, all of you have given the correct answers. Perfect. Yes. So the correct answer is plan, act, observe, and reflect. So action research is done to find a solution that we have recently discussed. And it has been, sometimes they might ask you who has given you this formula. So it is Stephen. Okay. So now this is one of the very simplest question because it's of 2018. Post 2018, they have upgraded the level of question. Okay, so this was very simple. So now this is 2019 20 question that they have asked you. They have little bit upgraded, but again, if you have understood the keywords, it will be easy for you to solve. A college teacher plans a research program in which she intends to improve the socio-emotional aspect of her classroom climate during teaching. Which one of the following research method will be considered appropriate in the context? So now, obviously, we have not studied the other three method as of now. So the answer is perfect. All of you, very good. It's B, that is action research. Perfect. So whenever you see a college teacher, principal, practitioner, anyone who is associated with university, school, class, your answer will be action research. Very good. Now, one more question. This is from 2022. A university teacher plans to improve study habits of students in her class. Which type of research paradigm will be useful in this regard? Just Is my PPT visible to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Yeah, thank you. So, yes. So when I talk about again university teacher and study habits, so it is action research itself. Now, a small bifurcation between applied and action research. This you should definitely take a screenshot. Okay, I will just zoom it a little bit. Okay, so sorry. So when I talk about applied research, it is solving a general problem. Action research, a local problem. Applied will have generalized application. Action research will have a local application. Applied research is executed always by a very expert person, and it is executed action research by any practitioner. And when I talk about practitioner, that means the university teacher or the uh, principal, anybody. When I talk about applied research, it aims solving practical life problems. Okay. And when I talk about action research, its focus is on improvement and giving an immediate solution. There are few more bifurcation that you can see that will just help you to clarify your concept. So the nature, okay. So that this was about applied and action research. So action research is a part of applied research, and still it has little differentiation. Now we will see a differentiation between basic research, the theoretical one that we studied, and the applied research. Okay, so the basic research, the pure research or the fundamental research focuses on to expand the existing scientific knowledge and make generalization and formulate new theory. That is a basic and a pure research. Applied research has nothing to do to generate a theory. It has to work on specific problem and find a specific solution. Basic research is very theoretical. Applied research is practical. Basic research is universal. Applied research is little limited because it has action research also. I cannot say it is universal because a problem in one school, one class, one university might not be same. The problem might be same, but the solution might not work in both the cases. So it is little bit limited. It's not completely universal. And basic research study human behavior to make certain generalization. The applied research will study market evaluation, socio-political trends because it has action research and the other applied research as well. Now, this is again a summary that you can see for difference between basic and applied research. More or less the same thing. Just I've given you more sets of examples so that you don't miss on any kind of important pointers. Okay. So again, it's the same thing, expanding the current knowledge solve and applied is solving the practical problem. Basic is theoretical, applied is practical, and so on so forth. Please go through this slide. Any specific point that you're not able to understand, ask me. Otherwise, it is more or less the same. If you don't have any questions, just give a thumbs up. Okay, fine. I will move to the next slide. Okay. So the most important difference between applied and basic lies in their objective. The basic seeks to expand the information and understanding of the object, and the applied focus on the problem, giving a solution and aims to solve the problem. Now, what is a mixed research? This is very interesting. Mixed research is basically solving certain practical problems, and it is a mixture of quantitative and qualitative, and that is called as mixed research. Now, quantitative and qualitative itself are very huge terminologies, but mixed research, just to understand, any research that we are conducting will always be mixture of quantitative and qualitative. Quantitative is talking about numbers. Okay, so when we do experiment interviews and all those things, so it will surveys and everything is quantitative numbers on how many people we have done a survey or whatever it is there. Qualitative is focusing on in people, interviews, groups, and everything. Mixture of both of them is called as mixed research. Now, let us understand what is quantitative research, unlocking the power of numbers. Now, all these important words that are highlighted are taken from previous year question paper, and this is what they ask in to you in a particular, what we say, question, and everything is depending upon this keyword. If you understand the keywords, you will be very easily able to solve any kind of question. Okay, so quantitative depends upon numerical data, statistics, and measurement. They are basically depending upon graphs, tables, and represented in that particular manner. Quantitative research is also called as structured research or a linear research. Why as it is structured? Because everything is designed in a already pre-planned and designed in a quantitative research. And we have a hypothesis, and that hypothesis is basically an assumption that we make while doing any research. So when I talk about any hypothesis, for example, I want to do a research and I want to do a research, and I have created a hypothesis if there is some kind of relation between growing height and the size of the shoes that a person wears. So if a height grows, the size of the shoes will also grow. So some kind of hypothesis, and then I'm proving that hypothesis. Okay. So hypothesis will be there, and we will be testing that hypothesis. And quantitative data is highly data oriented. It is, because it is number, it is data oriented, and it uses deductive approach. Very important. Quantitative is using deductive. That means qualitative will be using inductive approach by default. Okay, because it goes vice versa. Now, what is deductive? Is it particular to general or general to particular? Very good, Karan. Yes. Sakti, correct. General to particular. Perfect. Perfect, everyone. Bhavya ma'am, Sneha ma'am, everyone, perfect. It is DGP, that is deductive is general to particular. Very good. So now this research focus on testing a hypothesis. A lot of literature review has been done when I talk about quantitative data. Okay, a lot of literature review has been done, and our focus is to proving the theory. And again, quantitative is objective in nature. So the qualitative will be subjective in nature, because quality. And when we talk about quality, it is subjective and it will have biasness. Quantity cannot have biasness. That is why it is objective. Numbers cannot have biasness. So the quantitative data will have close-ended questions, that is fixed response. For example, if you fill any kind of form or anything, so you have a question like rate between 1 to 5, or rate between certain thing. There are 5 categories given, and you are asked to win rate on that particular rate. But when I talk about qualitative, it is open-ended. You are being given an option to fill give your personal response. That is subjective and that is open-ended. When I talk about quantitative, it is already given rate between 1 to 5. So that means a very fixed response, and I know what is the particular rating that means. Okay, that is quantitative data. So this is a previous year question from 2022. So quantitative research provides a basis for more precise estimation of the degree of relationship among us between concepts. Is the function of, is it surveying, reviewing, measurement, or sampling? See, it's all about keyword. So if you have studied keyword, the answer is very clear. Very good. Perfect. Yes. So when I talk about quantitative, quantity hai to definitely we will measure it. Okay. So it is all about measurement. Okay. Now, qualitative data. So qualitative research is exploring the depth of human experience. So the moment it comes human experience, number don't do at all. So everything that we have studied in quantitative, it will go vice versa. First, based on feelings, words, emotions, and non-numerical and unquantifiable elements will be there. Second, it is done for the discovery, going in depth in a situation. The numbers always don't give you the correct result. So many a times when we talk about even a grading system, we do have numbers, but not necessary that numbers will give you the deep down analysis of any XYZ student. Okay, the student might get more or less number, but deep down the qualities of those student might be very different. So numbers will never give you a full complete analysis. So that is why we go to study deep down, and it is unstructured data. In this, literature review is bare minimum that has been done, and as discussed, if that is using deductive approach, this is using inductive approach, that is moving from particular to general. It uses the process of inquiry, asking questions, doing interviews. That is the way of doing qualitative research. Sorry, it uses the process of inquiry and has a goal of understanding social human problem from multiple perspectives, because for anything X that has been done, there can be multiple reasons for it. So it answers the questions by question, very important. Okay, and it uses non-probability sampling. Probability is basically uh, deciding possible when we say probability is something called as what are the possible outcomes of it. So it will be using non-probability sampling here, and the sample size will be very small because I'm asking questions. So I'm asking questions, I'm going deep down it, I'm analyzing everybody responses. So we use a small sample size here, and it is subjective in nature because we are talking about human feelings, emotions, and other things. Okay. So here there is a complete difference between qualitative and quantitative research. Okay. So again, you will see whatever we have studied in the previous two slides, it is more or less the same thing here. So quantitative, very clear to researcher what to do, what not to do by employing certain statistical, logical, and mathematical techniques. Qualitative, main object is to understand human beings and the social science and know what people know and think. Here again the same thing, objective approach, subjective approach. They have given you in a one sentence format, so we have just cut down 2 pointers in our previous slides. So quantitative is a top down, and the object is to confirm what and when. And the qualitative is bottom up approach. We are going right from the very lower level background to upper level and understanding everything. Again, follows general to specific, that is deductive approach, that starts from a theory, forms hypothesis, and then goes for an observation. And in qualitative, we go vice versa, we go from specific to general, mainly follows inductive reasoning that starts from observation. It tries to develop a pattern and then tentative hypothesis. So the data that has been collected here is experiments, numbers, statistics, polls, and controlled observation. And the data that is through collected in a qualitative is in-depth interview, focus, discussions, observations, document reviews, and going into deep. The sample size again big, small, just doing a quick revision. And the random sampling method is mostly used in quantitative data because it uses a probability method of sampling, and here we use in qualitative a non-probability method of sampling. And the quantitative is result oriented, the qualitative is always process oriented. Quantitative, the results are specific and thus findings are more generalized. In qualitative, the results are descriptive and thus findings of a qualitative research cannot be generalized. It is very difficult to generalize a qualitative research finding. Any doubt anybody has so far? Okay. If anyone has any doubt, please you can drop it in the text box or you can ask me. So this is also one comparison table, again in a little precise manner. So again, my emphasis will be on the same thing, that be very clear with the keywords. As you can see here also, keywords will help you to solve lot of question and give you a correct answer. So when we use both this method in a research, that is called as mixed research. Um, Dhara ma'am, should I continue or please tell me?
Yes, ma'am. If the topic is over, we can end the webinar here and open it for questions.
Sure, ma'am.
If anyone has any doubts or question that they would like to ask ma'am regarding the topic that was discussed today, you can ask. Yes, sir, the webinar is complete, but if anyone has any questions or doubts, then we can ask.